Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. I'm your host, Pete Pardo, publisher and CEO of SOT. Today we're going to look at a fairly new album that came out a few months back. Again, it's January. We're still catching up on the late 2019 stuff that I missed out on. This is the latest from kind of like rock, prog, supergroup Flying Colors. It's called Third Degree. Okay. If you've had a chance to check out their first couple of studio releases, pretty solid stuff, all right? So, again, pretty much a supergroup. So we've got Mike Portnoy on drums. We've got Neal Morse, and of course, Mike Portnoy, ex of Dream Theater, also currently of Winery Dogs, and Sons of Apollo, and Transatlantic, and I'm sure other bands, and the Neal Morse Band. We got Neal Morse himself, ex of Spock's Beard, on vocals, keyboards, acoustic guitar. You got Casey McPherson, McPherson, on lead vocals and rhythm guitars. Okay, you got Steve Morse, Dixie Dregs, Deep Purple, also ex of Kansas, on guitar, and of course Portnoy, like I mentioned. I dig this album a lot. This, again, one of those albums that I just didn't get around to listening to in 2019, and I noticed it, a lot of end-of-the-year prog lists, this ranked up pretty high. I know a bunch of the writers on SOT had listened to this album during the year and spoke very highly of it and put it on their best-of-the-year list. And, of course, when that happens, you're always like, oh, God, I feel bad that I didn't get to it. Well, better late than never, I always say. It's a really good album. We've got 9 new tracks on the album. Musically, it's not that different from their previous two albums. Flying Colors have tried very hard to be a just very accessible melodic rock band with a lot of prog or progressive rock flourishes, and I think they do that very, very well on this album. I think that the band is starting to gel together a little bit more now that they've done a few albums together and done some touring. I get a strong feeling, again, minus the violin, of course, I get a strong feeling of more modern Kansas on this album, because I think Casey's vocals sound a lot like Ronnie Platt, the current singer from Kansas. And I think just some of the kind of soaring instrumental passages, which, driven by Steve Morse's guitar work, remind me a lot of kind of, that kind of just real majestic quality that you get with a lot of the Kansas stuff, which again is very proggy, but also very much in just kind of great melodic rock. So you get a lot of that here, but of course a lot of fantastic Neal Morse keyboards on here. My one thing is, I think on the previous couple of albums, I think both Casey and Neal shared a lot of the lead vocals. This album is much more driven by Casey's vocals, and he's a really good singer. So if you're wanting a little bit more Neal on the vocals, you're not going to get a lot of that. He sings a lot of the background vocals, and there's one or two tracks where he sings more of the lead vocals, but for the most part it's Casey. So there's a little bit more of a different flavor on this album because of that, because it's very dominant with his singing style. But that's not to knock it down at all, because I think it's very good. He's a really, really good singer. His voice really fits with the music here, and some really great tracks on here. I've been listening to this a lot lately. Last Train Home is one of my favorite tunes on here. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The Lost Inside is great. Geronimo. What else? Love Letter. Crawl. More. Cadence. A lot of really, really strong songs. Some of them are pretty rockin'. Some are a little bit more proggy. Some are more, almost kind of ballads, but with a lot of really great instrumentation. I really dig it a lot. I'll show you the booklet here while we're at it, so you can see the guys. So I know there's a picture of them in here. There we go. Okay, there they are. You got Dave LaRue, okay, bass player from Dixie Dregs and the Steve Morse Band. There you got Portnoy. There you got Casey McPherson. There you got Steve Morse. And there you got Neal Morse. Not related at all. A fine, fine effort. It's funny, you listen to the music of these guys, and I've been saying this since they first came out and debuted, is that the music is just really accessible, catchy, a lot of hooks, great instrumentation. It's not too proggy. Maybe some might say, well, it's a little too proggy for the regular rock crowd, and it's a little too rockin' for the regular prog crowd. I think it really sits somewhere in the middle. I can really see, more mainstreamy listeners digging on some of these songs. I really could. But, that's in a perfect world. For the way things are, and I like that cover, by the way, they just have to be happy with this kind of steadily growing audience that they're getting. So, and you're starting to see them out on tour quite a bit and what have you. So if you haven't checked it out, all right, Flying Colors, Third Degree, 2 thumbs up for me. I dig it quite a bit. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all the damn time, of course. Stay tuned. We got more product review shows coming up. Devin Townsend, Neal Morse. What else we got? Crypt Sermon. What else am I missing here? Brand new, Tigers of Pantang. Whew. Digging on that. It's quite good. But for now, you can check out a review on the website, and we'll see you guys relatively soon. We got some rants coming up, too, so don't miss out on any of them. Top 10 songs, best to worst albums, you name it, it's coming. See you soon. Bye-bye.